The story begins as a girl is reincarnated into a dating sim, but instead of picking one of the charming princes, she goes after the villainess of the game. We meet Ohashi Rei, a typical office worker who relaxes while playing her favorite game, but she gets hit by Truck-kun one day, and when she wakes up, she finds herself in front of her favorite character, Claire. As she looks around, she realizes she has been reincarnated into the world as the game's protagonist Rei Taylor. Rei wastes no time and immediately confesses her love to Claire. Claire is absolutely confused by this and shows even more bitterness toward her, but Rei finds her mean attitude adorable and she can't stop complimenting her, even encouraging Claire to continue bullying her. When Rei is walking in the hallway, Claire pushes and taunts her, expecting to make her fall into despair. But to her surprise, she appreciates Claire for pushing her and once again expresses her love for the villainess. Claire attempts to bully her by stepping on her feet and mocking her, but Rei just tells her to step on her harder. In their class, Rei realizes her book is missing and it seems Claire has hidden it, calling her poor for not being able to afford a book, but Rei just thinks she hid it so that they could be closer and she starts sharing with her. In their dorm room, Rei's roommate Misha advises her to stay away from Claire because her family is among the most prestigious in the kingdom, so she could do anything she wants to her. However, Rei isn't intimidated by her because she loves everything about her, including her evil deeds. She realizes that Claire has always been careful not to hurt her too much, so she thinks that deep down, Claire has a kind side, which makes her like her even more. The following day in their PE session, Claire taunts Rei for being unable to find a partner, but Rei takes advantage of this by telling the teacher that Claire wants to partner with her. Claire makes another attempt to bully her by throwing water on her, but her plan fails as Rei just gets even closer to her. After getting tired of her unsuccessful attempts of bullying Rei, Claire becomes frustrated and asks her how she can stay so calm despite everything that she did to her. But Rei just says that she sees all of her bullying as a form of love. Seeing her unwavering willpower, Claire gets even more annoyed with her. Misha points out that if she's too persistent, Claire might just start ignoring her. Rei is devastated by the thought, and Misha suggests she needs to become someone who can't be ignored, pointing out how competitive Claire is. The next day, Rei greets Claire in the morning but is treated with hostility as usual. Rei isn't affected by her rudeness and once again declares that she loves her. But Claire has had enough and shouts at her to leave the academy. Hearing the commotion, the three princes, Rod, Thane, and Yoon, the game's three original romance options, suddenly appear. Rod questions Claire about what's going on, but Rei interrupts and teases Claire even more. Yoon notices Rei and identifies her as the highest ranked among the new students. Rod thinks she's just a commoner, mocking her father, and he asks Thane for his opinion, but he seems uninterested. Claire starts to blush noticing Thane, so Rei encourages her to talk to him since she likes him. Claire gets embarrassed, and she yells that she doesn't like him at all. Everyone hears her, and Rod laughs at his brother for getting rejected. Rei realizes she messed up, remembering how Thane has an inferiority complex with his brothers. Rei tells Claire they should apologize to him, but Claire gets even angrier at her, declaring that she will keep bullying her until she breaks and submits to her in tears. During her break, Claire thinks of ways to bully Rei. Her friends think she should just forget about her, but Claire refuses to lose. She finally comes up with an idea, and she marches up to Rei, proposing a challenge. They have an exam the next day, so Claire proposes that if she scores highest on the test, then Rei will need to leave the academy. Rei is not interested since she has nothing to gain, but she decides to accept on the condition that if she wins, Claire must agree to do any one thing that she asks. Claire is hesitant about this, but she's so confident of her win that she agrees, and Misha acts as their witness for the competition. On the exam day, Claire is confident that she'll be acing her exams, but the written exam is easy for Rei because she remembers the answers from spending hours grinding the game. Unfortunately, Rei struggles with her lack of physical experience during the table etiquette exam, and she gets even more distracted by Claire's beauty, which causes her to lose points. The final exam is about magic, where their attributes and aptitudes are measured. The attributes are the 4 elements, and their aptitude is measured from non-existent to exceptional. Claire has an attribute of fire with a high aptitude, while Rei just quickly tests and rushes towards the next step. We see Rod destroying a target as he tests his magic. Thane does the same with his wind magic, but he seems to be in a bad mood because he struggled in the written test. Rod and Yoon notice Ray, who takes her turn showing off her magic. Yoon is impressed, but notes that she missed the target, but Rod noticed that she missed on purpose, and he starts to develop an interest in her. At night, Ray shows up at Claire's room, saying they had a long day, as she goes in for a hug, and Claire slams the door shut. The next morning, Claire is in a good mood thinking about the results of the exam. When she sees Ray with bags under her eyes, she thinks Ray must have been too worried to sleep, but Ray says she stayed up thinking about what she would get her to do after winning their contest. The results are revealed, and for the written exam we see that after the two princes, Ray came in third, beating Claire. In the etiquette exam, Ray only scored 75 points, while Claire came third with 97. Claire starts to gloat, telling Ray she fell off plus ratio, but Ray just thinks she looks cute when she's excited. The final score for the magic exam is revealed, and everyone is shocked when they see Ray in the top spot, with her ability marked as immeasurable. The students all wonder how her ability could be immeasurable, and the teacher tells them that her result was so exceptional that she's excluded from the rankings. Claire can't believe the result, and Rod confronts her about missing the target. He speculates that her magic is immeasurable because she can use more than one type of magic, which is typically unheard of. We learn that as the protagonist, her character is designed to have an exceptional aptitude for both water and earth magic, so she knew the exam would be rigged in her favor. Claire's friends console her, telling her she did well to come third, but Ray suddenly shows up and reminds her of their agreement. Claire claims the bet was cancelled since she was excluded from the rankings, but Ray reminds her that the bet was if Claire would be the winner, but since she was excluded, Claire can't be considered the winner. Claire thinks she's ridiculous, but Ray reminds her how they swore to God, which the people in this world take very seriously, so Claire has no choice but to accept defeat. However, when Ray tells her what she wants, she just tells her not to give up. Claire is surprised by her demand, but she swears to her God that she won't lose hope no matter what happens. As she walks away, Ray calls her out, telling her she loves her, but Claire refuses to accept her, saying she despises her. At her mansion, Claire is tasked with interviewing new maids, but is annoyed to see that Ray has shown up for the interview as well. Ray explains that she's there to earn extra cash and spend time with her beloved Claire. This frustrates her even more, and she instantly rejects her application. But the head maid tells her to rethink it, because Ray seems to have a much better profile than other candidates. She even highlights Ray's loyalty towards Claire as beneficial, although Ray corrects the word loyalty, saying that it's love. Hearing the commotion, Claire's father Doyle enters the room. Claire explains she doesn't want to hire Ray because she bothers her too much, so her father agrees to reject her. But before he can walk away, Ray requests to speak with him. At first, he's offended by her request, but when she mentions the name of a certain person, his expression changes, and he asks for privacy to speak with her. After talking for a while, they come out of the room, and Doyle tells Claire that Ray is now her maid. Claire is furious and tries to protest his decision, but he tells her that it's already been decided. Accepting her fate, Claire tells Ray she will need to obey everything that she says as her maid, but Ray is more than happy to do so. We see Ray helping Claire get changed, but she gets creeped out by her staring. Claire considers only letting her senior maid Lena help change her clothes, but Lena convinces her that Ray must also learn the work. We learn that Lena is her childhood maid. She's from a prestigious company sent specially for Claire, but she treats Claire in such a way that she seems more like her older sister, like reminding her to eat her vegetables. Claire isn't keen, and Ray offers to eat them, considering it as an indirect kiss with her, but Claire quickly finishes it. Since Lena can't take the lectures, Ray is tasked with accompanying Claire at the school. After class, Rod invites Ray for a chess game, but she rejects him saying she's busy with maid work. However, he continues insisting on her, which makes her realize that since it's a dating game, Rod's attracted to her because of her grades. She thinks about how she held back during the exam to avoid this, but it seems it didn't work. Since school has ended, Ray returns to work since she's also Claire's tutor. They head back to her mansion, where Claire's friends wonder if it's safe to have Ray around, but she explains that she has no choice since it was decided by her father. Lena thinks that Ray must really like Claire, but when she says that she doesn't, Claire is shocked. Seeing the look on her face, Ray becomes excited, thinking she has feelings for her. Claire rejects the idea, and Ray goes on to fix the misunderstanding that she doesn't like Claire, but she loves her instead. Later, we see the girls in a hot spring. Ray is in charge of washing Claire's hair, and she can't help but compliment her hair. This reminds Ray that Claire's hair is curled by Lena every day, inspired by her mother. After Claire has been washed, she notices Ray being a perv, but there's nothing she can do about it. Lena compliments Ray for her help, but Claire mocks her for being a commoner. She offers to call her by her name if she stops telling her that she loves her, but Ray instantly rejects her offer, once again saying that she loves her. At night, Ray stays in Claire's room, offering to give her a massage. Claire wonders why she's still there, and she says she'll stay until she falls asleep, even offering her a goodnight kiss. Claire gets fed up with her, but after a while, she wonders why Ray is always showing love to her, but Ray just says it's because she's irresistibly cute. Claire thinks she only likes her because of her looks, but Ray says that she also adores her personality. However, Claire knows that she doesn't have the most likable personality, so she gets up in anger, wondering what Ray is really after. But Ray's response is still the same, saying she's there because she's in love with her, and she insists on doing whatever it takes for her to believe her. Ray plays chess with Rod, and everyone is impressed by her skills. She asks him if he wants to resign, and Rod admits that she's good, but with his next move, he manages to secure victory. Ray reveals that this is her first time playing chess, but we learn that she's been playing against the AI in the video game, which explains why she is so skilled. She is about to leave, but Rod tells her not to go easy on him next time. She is surprised that he was able to notice this, and we learn that she wanted Rod to stop liking her, so she lost on purpose. After some time, we see Claire playing against Ray, as Yoon gives Claire advice, telling her that Ray is in control of the game. He invites them to play poker, asking his servant to be the dealer, and Misha joins the game. We learn that Misha is Yoon's childhood friend, before her family fell on hard times, and she is hiding her feelings for him. The game begins, as Ray and Misha swap cards, but Yoon remains calm, wondering if Ray went easy on Rod. She denies this, but Yoon tells her not to go easy on them, causing Misha to become upset. Claire also swaps her card, but Yoon chooses to stick to what he has, so Ray concludes that he has a good hand. She swaps all of her cards, wanting to beat him, but she ends up with a terrible hand, causing her to lose the game. Misha has a 3 of a kind, while Claire has a full house, but Yoon reveals that he has 4 of a kind, allowing him to defeat all of them. However, Ray recalls that she had an ace in her original hand, so she concludes that he cheated. Yoon notices her reaction, so he wonders what's wrong, but she chooses not to expose him, and he calls her an interesting person, causing Misha to become even more upset. While walking outside, Ray hears a melody, so she drags Claire around the garden, and they see Thane playing the harp. Ray is familiar with this scene, knowing it's a chance for the player to grab Thane's attention. Claire runs to him, complimenting him on his performance, but Ray knows that this is the wrong move, because he doesn't want anyone to interrupt him, so this will cause him to dislike Claire. He immediately stops playing, saying it's merely a pastime, and it has nothing to do with being a good king. Ray suggests playing the king game, which is a game where they draw lots, and the player who gets number 1 must issue an order as the king. She claims that the game will allow them to tell if a person will become a good king, so Thane agrees to play. They draw lots, and he becomes king, ordering Claire and Ray to hold hands, so Ray takes this chance to display her affection. Ray becomes king, and she orders Thane to kiss Claire, causing them to become flustered. She reminds them that the king's order is absolute, but Thane realizes that the game has nothing to do with being a good king, asking her if she is mocking him. She confirms this, telling him that she was just testing him, as she tells him that he will make a good king, because he refused to comply with an unreasonable order and discovered the truth behind the game. Thane walks away, and Ray reveals that she was lying, saying she just wanted to mess with Claire. At the dining area, Misha wonders if Ray is really into women. Ray confirms that she is, explaining that she's never been attracted to a man, and Claire thinks that she's in danger. Lena thinks that gender doesn't matter when it comes to love, and Ray just happened to fall in love with a woman, but she reveals that this isn't the case, saying she will never fall in love with a man. She doesn't expect Claire to like her back, but she's happy to be around her, and we learn that Ray's goal is to make Claire happy, saying she will never give up until that happens. As they dine together, Ray thinks about how no one that she loved ever returned her feelings, but she's happy to just be around them. Some other girls start gossiping about her, since she's always acting so strange, but Claire suddenly pours tea on them, intimidating them before leaving with Ray. Misha is surprised Claire stood up for Ray, and Ray wonders if Claire really hates her. Claire still insists that she does, but Ray isn't bothered, saying she will continue to love her. In a class about magic stones, we learn that they are used as the core of every magic tool, but we see Ray dozing off in the class. They move on to practicing their magic against targets, but Misha notices Ray zoning out, and she scolds her for neglecting her practice. Ray gives it a go, but her magic is so strong that it completely destroys the target. Everyone in the class is amazed, while Ray realizes she used too much power, but a fireball suddenly flies past and destroys another target, and Claire tells her not to get full of herself, because anyone can do it with practice. Ray looks like she's about to cry, but she thinks Claire is too cool, asking her to marry her. Their teacher Torrid interrupts them, telling them not to lose focus, because magic is a dangerous art that must be taken seriously. The two apologize, and Ray smiles at Claire, telling her how she loves the fact that she shows respect to people who are better than her. Claire notes that Torrid is one of the pioneers who established the foundations of magic, and he is the only person able to use 3 elements in the whole kingdom. The lesson continues as Torrid discusses the attributes of magic and their respective affinities. He explains the use of each element, like using earth for defense, fire for attacking, water for healing, and wind for enhancement. He tells the class to practice and asks the wind attribute students to come forward so he can advise them separately. The class begins practicing, and Ray tries making walls using her earth magic. Claire shoots at her wall, destroying it as she looks at her smugly, but this just makes her happy, and she creates more for her to attack. Yoon and Rod walk over to them, thinking they are good friends, which Claire immediately denies, but Ray claims that that's why she loves her, making her annoyed. Claire asks where Thane is, and Rod tells her he's with Torrid. Claire looks at him longingly, but Ray is unamused. Yoon is impressed by Ray's powers, saying they envy her since they aren't good at using magic. Claire asks her if being praised by a prince makes her happy, but Ray says she would rather be complimented by her instead. Rod asks the two if they will take the Academy Knights exam, and we learn the Knights are responsible for resolving student conflicts and fighting monsters on the school grounds. Ray recognizes the Knights as the game's version of the Student Council, which allows players to get exclusive event pictures of the princes, but she doesn't care about that. Rod notices her indifference towards the idea, and suggests she could be the knight who protects Claire. Ray imagines herself saving Claire from bandits, and instantly changes her mind about joining, but Claire crushes her dreams by telling her that she will also be taking the exam. However, Ray gets excited as she imagines Claire as a knight. The ground suddenly starts shaking, and a giant slime monster emerges from the woods. The princes lead the students away, while Torrid tries to fight the monster, but his attacks have no effect. Ray jumps in to help him since she can use wind magic, which is strong against water-type monsters. She traps the monster with magic walls using her knowledge of what happens in the game, and she asks Torrid to gather everyone to attack the slime together. The students shoot at the slime, but it only enrages it, causing it to scream and immobilize everyone. It grabs multiple students including Ray, and she realizes that it will lead to a romance option with one of the princes. In desperation, she calls for Claire instead, but she sees Claire has also been caught by the monster, which she finds cute. The monster drops Claire, and Thane joins her, telling her to combine their powers. Ray cheers her on, and she combines her flames with Thane's wind, allowing them to destroy the monster's core. Claire is exhausted, and Thane checks up on her, which makes her blush, but he disappears when the students surround them. Ray goes into the woods to find a baby slime, and we learn that the giant slime was just trying to protect it. She decides to make the slime her familiar, and she names it Relaire. On her way back, she notices Claire and Thane having a moment together, but it gets interrupted when she accidentally steps on a twig. Claire immediately rushes to her to check up on her, which Ray sees as her being affectionate, and Claire gets annoyed at her again, but tells her she did a good job keeping the monster at bay. Afterward, Ray secretly pulls out Relaire, but is caught by Misha. She tells her to keep it a secret and asks her to help train it. Misha is reluctant at first, but warms up to the idea after realizing how cute it is, and they secretly train it, but they are eventually caught by Claire, who screams when she sees it. Claire scolds them for taking in a monster after the ordeal they went through, but Ray and Misha try to convince her that R'lyeh is harmless. Claire is intrigued by its name, so Ray explains that it's their names put together, saying it's the fruit of their love. Claire ignores this and tells her she will inform Torrid so he can kill it. Ray desperately tries to change her mind by showing her all the tricks she taught it, but she remains unimpressed. So Ray uses her last resort and makes R'lyeh change its shape to resemble Claire, which instantly catches her attention. Ray lies and tells her that slimes imitate the shape of beautiful ladies, feeding her ego and getting her to agree. Claire tells her that if she wants to keep it, she must teach it discipline and stop hiding it. She also asks her to change its name, but Ray tells her that's impossible since familiars remember their name forever. A few days later, results for the written exam for the Academy Knights are announced, and all 3 girls pass it. Claire congratulates Misha, but ignores Ray, who is excited by her cold attitude. The princes congratulate them, and Rod tells them the real test is the practical exam that they must take next. Claire drags Ray away from the group and proposes another challenge, saying that if Ray fails the exam, then she must leave the academy. Ray declines instantly, but Claire tells her to at least consider her terms. Ray suggests competing under the same terms as the last challenge, but Claire is skeptical, thinking she will trick her again. So Ray suggests new terms, where she will only win if she passes her exam. Lorik, the captain of the Academy Knights, leads the group to the ground where the exams will take place. The theme of the exam is one-on-one battles based on survey responses, and we see the group being paired up against each other. The knights create a barrier around them to minimize damage, and the battles commence. Yoon and Thane go first. Thane quickly attacks Yoon by using advanced wind magic to enhance his offensive abilities, but Yoon casts his magic to block the attacks, turning the floor to ice, and he prepares to strike back. The announcers explain that Yoon is an intermediate magic user, and his ice powers give him the image of a prince of ice, which makes the other girls swoon. He launches ice at Thane, but Thane creates a wind shield to deflect the attack, and he charges straight toward Yoon. Yoon traps him in a wall of ice, but he easily destroys it and closes in on Yoon. Yoon surrenders, and Thane becomes the winner of the first battle. Misha and Rod's battle comes up next, but Misha isn't looking forward to it. Rod creates minions using his fire powers, and launches them at Misha, who easily eradicates them with her wind. Rod creates more minions around Misha, and makes them explode, but Misha emerges unharmed, thanks to a vacuum barrier she created to shut out the heat and protect herself. Rod is impressed by her, so he unleashes a relentless wave of minions using his exceptionally large supply of mana. The attacks are too much for Misha, and she ends up surrendering. We learn that although her vacuum barrier protected her, the constant attacks caused her to run out of oxygen. Ray and Claire's battle finally comes around, but when it starts, neither of the girls attack each other. Claire asks Ray why she's standing still, and Ray tells her that she's happy to just look at her, but if she insists, she will start the fight. Ray brings out her wand and traps Claire in an earth wall, but Claire easily melts it away with her fire. Ray launches rocks at her, but she creates a barrier to protect herself. Claire casts a fire lance to deflect her attack, but Ray creates a wall out of tungsten, which easily withstands the heat. Claire changes her tactics and casts another fire lance, which she redirects to go behind Ray and split into multiple pieces, but Ray is able to protect herself. Thane notes how Ray seems to know Claire's fighting style, but his brothers assume it's due to her being obsessed. Claire starts getting annoyed and launches a barrage of attacks, trying to cut off Ray's oxygen, but Ray acts quickly and directs her wall towards Claire to trap her again. Claire jumps out of it and uses her family's special magic, firing a powerful beam to intimidate Ray into surrendering. However, Ray creates a hole under her, causing her to fall. Claire tries to fight back, but Thane tells her to give up, because Ray is a dual caster with water attributes that can overpower her fire. Claire becomes furious when she realizes Ray was holding back the whole time, but before she can retaliate, the announcers declare Ray as the winner. Later on, the two check the results, and Claire is confused to see that she passed the test. Lorik explains that the results of the fight don't matter because they were tested for their raw ability during their fights, and he welcomes the two of them into the Knights. Claire asks Ray what she wants for winning, but Ray simply tells her to promise never to give up, and she is confused at why she is asking for the same thing, but she agrees and swears never to lose hope. Lorik welcomes the group to the Academy Knights and jumps right into business, which is the Foundation Day Fair. The Knights run a cafe during the fair as a tradition, but Rod suggests that they change it up to make it less boring. He asks Ray for suggestions, and she says she wants to see Claire in men's clothes, which gives Rod the idea to go for a maid and butler theme, where the girls and guys swap outfits. Claire questions if it would be acceptable for royals like them to do this, but Yoon is on board since he thinks it would be fun to dress up. Misha shyly agrees with the idea, along with Ray, who just wants to see how Claire will look. Before Claire can object, Ray tells her to imagine how Thane would look in a dress, and she instantly agrees, and Rod announces the opening of their cross-dressing cafe. But we see Claire regret agreeing to the idea, after realizing she will have to wait on people. A boy named Lambert approaches them, and he thanks Claire for being good to his sister Lena. Claire asks Ray if she knows about him, and Ray explains that Lambert is an inventor and magic tool specialist who takes care of all the Academy's maintenance single-handedly. Lambert thanks her for her kind words, and asks the two for a favor. He explains that there have been conflicts among the students, which he and Lorik are trying to handle, so he asks them to take care of other matters in their place. Claire agrees to this, and he tells her to investigate claims of a ghost being seen near the kitchens. Claire is terrified hearing this, and Ray teases her about it, but Lambert notices her discomfort and asks if it's too much. Ray says they will need the kitchen for the cafe, and Lambert assures her that the ghost hasn't hurt anyone. Claire finds it scary to be working with a ghost lurking around, but proclaims that nobles don't go back on their words, and that she will solve the mystery. The two enter the kitchens at night, and Ray decides to check the prep room while Claire checks the main room. But she gets scared when she touches something slimy, and Ray rushes to check on her. It turns out to just be gelatin, and Ray tells her to stay outside while she checks deeper into the room. She soon comes back out and offers Claire a chocolate dessert, which Claire finds strange, because chocolate is a new thing that was only just released at the high-end eatery called Brumet. She reluctantly tries it, but finds it delicious, wondering where Ray got it from. She reveals she made it herself, and this makes Claire realize that the ghost seen around the kitchens was actually Ray, since she was spending time there learning the recipe. Ray reveals she also prepared a bed for them to spend the night, but Claire is frustrated and tries to leave. However, at the door, she notices a slimy hand on her shoulder and runs back to Ray, but it turns out to just be Relaire, who followed them. Claire tries to leave again, but after seeing the dark hallway, she comes back inside and jumps into bed. Ray joins her, and she teases her all night. Claire dreams about her childhood, where her mother was always too busy to spend time with her. On her birthday, we see her mom leave on an important trip, and Claire tells her she hates her, but later regrets it when she hears her mother was in an accident. She cries as she sleeps, but we see Ray comforting her. The next morning, Claire wakes up next to Ray, and slaps her for being too close to her. Back at Claire's place, Ray and Lena talk about Lambert, and Lena excitedly tells her how proud she is of her brother. Ray takes advantage of this, and says that Lambert would appreciate it if she helped out with the Foundation Day Fair, and she agrees. The girls try out different foods made by Ray, and realize that she can replicate the new releases from Brumet. But Lena later confronts her about it, and Ray admits that she was the one who gave Brumet all the recipes for money. Ray asks Lena to keep it a secret, saying she's doing it for Claire, and Lena agrees on the condition that she teaches her the recipes as well. They meet at night to practice, but Claire joins them after realizing and volunteers to taste test for them. She makes creme brulee for them, which they both find delicious. Lena tries making it as well, but she accidentally burns herself. Ray uses her magic to heal her, and Claire points out how close they are, while Ray is excited to see her being jealous, but she immediately denies it. The three enjoy the night together, and Ray wishes it could last forever. The next day, Ray calls Lena to help train the knights on how to serve people as maids and butlers. Claire asks Ray why she's using her maid, so Rod tells her that she did it on his request, since none of them know how to work in service. Lena starts the session and asks everyone to see past her status as a commoner so they can learn from her without prejudice. She orders everyone to refer to her as their instructor, and the students end up accepting her. Lena cracks her whip, and all the students are scared of her as she begins her lesson. She teaches them the fundamental concepts of serving and the proper way to welcome their master home. They have a break for tea, and Claire talks about the lesson being an ordeal, while Lena apologizes for going a little overboard. Claire understands her actions, saying she was always different from the other maids from the day she arrived, since she was able to put up with her attitude when she was young. Ray finds the story of the two adorable and tells Lena she will be counting on her help at the fair. The day of the fair arrives, and everyone is dressed up for the cafe. Claire mocks Ray for looking good in servant's clothes since she's a commoner, but she just takes it as a compliment. Yoon shows off his dress to Misha, and they both compliment each other. Lambert assigns everyone their shifts, and Rod announces the opening of the cafe. Customers pour in immediately, and they are mesmerized by the students dressed up as maids and butlers. Later, while Claire is cleaning up the tables, someone requests for her at table 2. She gets irritated when she sees it's Ray, but Lena orders her to perform her duties correctly. She goes to greet Ray, who is happy to see her holding back her anger. Claire threatens to slap her if she bothers her too much, but Ray just sees it as a reward. Ray finally orders her food, and tries to make moves on Claire, who dodges her while taking her order, and Lena is happy to see the restaurant going well. Ray goes back to her shift and is occupied with work, when two strange customers arrive at the cafe. The man turns out to be Marcel Loro, the crown prince of the Loro Empire. Ray recognizes him from the game and dreads what happens next. As scripted, Marcel orders her to bring him something made of dodo bird, and she informs them that they don't have the item on the menu due to it being a rare delicacy. Ray realizes that this moment will lead to another romance option with the princess, but to her surprise, Claire comes to her rescue. Claire starts talking with the prince in fluent Laurenese, which instantly lifts his mood. She suggests that he try a dish served with a rare sauce that only a select few have tried, and the prince agrees. After the situation is handled, Claire complains about the arrogance of people like Marcel, and Ray thanks Claire for helping her, but she denies that she did it to help her. Ray goes back out to finish serving the prince, and Lena mentions how this incident reminds her of something in the past. We see a flashback of Lena and Claire when they were younger. Lena gets bullied by a noble from Loro, but Claire comes to her rescue and convinces the man to treat her well. Afterwards, Claire tells Lena that she should keep her head held high since she is her servant, which makes her the highest-ranked commoner. The two laugh, and we cut back to the present where we see the girls enjoying their time serving the customers. After finishing her work, she swaps her shifts with Thane and tends to Claire, praising her for doing a great job at handling the customers, but Claire tells her she's used to putting up a front. Ray tells her she likes her usual honest self better, but Claire tells her not to flatter her since she's aware of her own personality. Ray tells her not to put herself down, and she offers to escort her around the fair. The two enjoy the fair together while checking out all the attractions. Claire becomes exhausted, so Ray goes to get water for her, but stops to buy a necklace. On her way back, students recruiting people to the commoners movement try to recruit her. Claire appears behind her, telling the student not to put thoughts in her servant's head, and takes her away. Claire mocks the movement's cause, but Ray disagrees, saying their movement isn't foolish. Seeing the uneasy look on her face, Ray reassures her that she would still serve her even if she were a noble, and offers her the necklace that she bought, saying that it helps people realize their love. Ray tells her she wishes for things between her and Thane to work out, but Claire thinks Ray is strange for rooting for Thane when she has feelings for her, but Ray states that her happiness is more important than having her own feelings realized. Claire asks her why she's obsessed with her, so Ray reveals she's the savior of her heart, and that she saved her from her mundane life full of worries and pressure. Claire thinks her words are ridiculous and gets up to leave. She tells her that they are nothing more than a noble and commoner, but we see her clutching onto the necklace. After the fair, the girls come across a crowd of students who tell them about a commotion between Yoon's attendant Didi and a student from the commoners movement, where Didi attacked the student with magic. Misha thinks using magic was extreme, but Claire continues to belittle the commoner. Ray asks her if things would be acceptable the other way around, and Claire is left speechless. Ray realizes she's slipped up, so she plays it off as a joke. The nurse calls them in after she's done treating the student, and the girls are shocked when they see his condition. Ray tries to question the boy Matt about the incident, but he refuses to answer since he believes that the Academy Knights will favor the nobles. The girls reassure him that they will treat him fairly, so he tells them what happened. We learn that it started out as an argument after Dee Dee forbids them to go near Yoon. This angers him, so he tells Dee Dee that nobles are just parasites who leech tax money from commoners. Hearing this, Dee Dee pulls out his wand, but it goes off, shooting fire at Matt. Yoon asks Lambert about the wand, and he tells him it was confiscated and sent for inspection. Word of the incident gets out, and a crowd of protesters gathers outside the school gate, demanding justice. Rod asks Yoon why he was meeting with Matt, calling him foolish for listening to his request. But Yoon quotes a teaching from the church that says they are all equal before the eyes of God, explaining that he saw no reason for shutting Matt out without hearing him first. We learn that Rod and Thane were born to the same mother, a princess from Alps who died early, while Yoon's mother, Riche, the current queen, used to be a cardinal of the spiritual church. The kingdom believed that the marriage would help put the church under control, but instead, it gained more power, and Yoon is the symbol of the church's authority. Yoon tells everyone that he doesn't believe Dee Dee would do such a thing, and that his magic discharged on its own. Lambert tells them that there were no defects found in the wand, which makes the situation suspicious. Rod suggests that they will talk to the nobles, while Ray and Misha will talk to the commoners so they can quiet things down. Ray doesn't want to do it, but she asks Claire to pet her head to get her motivated. Claire reluctantly pets her, but Ray teases her to do it with more love, so she pets her even harder. They disperse to help calm down the situation, and they talk to all the students about it. A week later, it's announced that Dee Dee's punishment is house arrest for only a week, which causes an uproar among the commoners. Realizing it isn't safe, Ray quickly takes Claire away from the area. Riots begin outside the school walls, and Lorik announces that the school will be closing temporarily and put under military protection until the situation calms down. Claire can't accept Dee Dee's punishment since she saw how badly hurt Matt was, and Lorik agrees with her, but explains that the other nobles who disliked the commoner movement had a hand in it. Lambert adds that the church may have helped the nobles, even though they usually finance the commoner movement, implying that the church may be trying to purposefully get nobles and commoners to clash. Rod asks Yoon why he didn't talk to his mother about this, and he explains that she refused to give him an audience. The three princes start arguing, but Claire stops them, suggesting that the church's real goal may be to create a rift between the princes. They realize this as well, and they agree to work together. While walking back to their room, Ray tells Claire to stay in her room until the next day. She protests, but Ray uses her magic to put her to sleep, and tells Lena that the school gate will be broken down, so she should do everything to protect her. Lena asks her how she knows this, but instead of answering, she asks her if she loves Claire. Lena notes how long she has been with Claire, so Ray hugs her, and decides to trust Claire with her. At night, the soldiers get attacked, and the commoners use it as a chance to climb over the school gate. They run straight for the dorms, but are stopped by the princes. Meanwhile, Ray finds Lambert sneaking around the storage room and accuses him of being the one to tamper with Dee Dee's wand. He tries to deny it, but Ray points out that he's the one who handles all inspections, and that he rigged the wand to discharge on its own and erased all evidence after the incident. She realizes that he plans to escalate tensions between nobles and commoners by using the bell to attract monsters and attack them. Lambert asks her if she has any proof, and she says she doesn't, but that she knows everything. She proves it by talking about how his goal isn't to help the commoner movement, and that Lena is more than just a sibling to him, implying that they have an incestuous relationship. At that moment, Lena appears while holding Claire hostage, and begs Ray not to get in the way of Lambert's plans. Roller jumps out of Claire's pocket and bites Lena, making her drop the knife and freeing Claire. Claire tells the two to surrender, but a mysterious man enters the room, saying that they can't do that, but Ray doesn't recognize the man from the game. He urges Lambert to use the bell, promising to help his family escape the country, so he and his sister can change their identities and be together. Lambert apologizes to everyone and releases a chimera, ordering it to attack the nobles. The girls run away, but Claire stops to fight it, saying that the siblings will be punished more harshly if they let the Chimera reach the military. She turns and attacks the Chimera, but it has no effect. Ray steps in and tells Claire she's a tsundere, which she doesn't understand, but Ray ignores her and tells them they should go somewhere else to fight more easily. The Chimera shoots fire at them, but Ray gets Claire out of the hallway and into the courtyard. She freezes the Chimera, but becomes exhausted from using too much magic. She explains that the Chimera commands multiple elements and will be able to break out of the ice, saying that defeating it will be the first labor of love for their new life together. The girls get ready to fight the Chimera, and Ray explains that she will combine her water magic with her fire to attack its head, which is weak against water. Ray distracts the Chimera while Claire prepares her attack. After getting it in the perfect position, she creates a pillar beneath Claire to help her cast her signature family magic. The two combine their powers, and they manage to defeat the Chimera, while Lena and Lambert watch them from above. The Academy Knights find and arrest them, but Lena is happy to see Claire has someone to take care of her in her place. The mysterious man appears behind Claire and Ray, and he tries to stab Claire, but Thane protects her and gets stabbed instead. The man escapes, and Thane starts getting weak due to the poison from the blade. Ray recognizes the poison as Cantarella, a deadly poison from the Nair Empire, but neutralizes it using her knowledge of the game. Claire realizes that the man was from the Nair Empire, who are always involved in major conspiracies that occur in the game according to Ray. Lorik announces that the riots and the commoner movement have fallen quiet, and Rod is annoyed that they almost played into the enemy nation's hands. Claire asks if the Aruso family will be ruined, and Lorik tells her that they were removed from businesses involving magic stones and await trial. She asks what will happen to Lena and Lambert, but he stays quiet, knowing that they will be sentenced to death for committing treason. Rod tells the girls that they will be rewarded for all they did to help the situation, and Claire finds it strange, but Ray whispers something to her, which she sees as an opportunity. The two wait in the palace, and Ray thanks Claire for arranging a nice outfit for her. Claire denies that she did it for her, but blushes when she looks at Ray. The two are summoned in front of the king, who praises them for taking care of the situation at the school. He asks them what they want as a reward, and Claire requests that he spare Lena and Lambert. The king asks Salas for his advice, but he tells him that it isn't possible since they were the prime offenders. Claire argues that the Aruso family devoted itself to the kingdom with their contributions in magic stones, and that they should be granted an exception. The king considers this, and asks Salas if their contributions are enough, but Salas tells him that their crimes are too great to forgive, so the king refuses their wish and asks them to request something else. Thane steps in and requests the king to grant their wish, saying that the situation occurred due to dissatisfaction toward the nobility after Didi was given a light sentence, and that this may occur again if the kingdom doesn't show its sincerity towards the commoners. The king hears their arguments and announces the exile of the Aruso family instead of execution. The girls are dismissed, and as soon as they get outside, they celebrate before Claire catches herself. Ray tells her to be happy, but Claire doesn't want to share joy with her. Ray tells her they should share love instead, and starts dancing with her, which Claire ends up enjoying. The two later watch the Arusos leaving the kingdom and learn that the siblings were disowned by the family. They spot Lena and Lambert and go to bid them farewell. Ray teases Claire, and the two start bickering, which makes Lena laugh. Lena thanks them for sparing them, and Ray hands her recipes to help her make money wherever she goes. Lena bids them farewell and walks away, but Claire runs to her, promising to meet her again. Lena is moved by her words and says that she will always be her master. After they depart, Ray asks Claire if she can hug her, which she refuses, but Ray runs up to her and hugs her anyway, telling her it's okay to cry. Claire tries to push her off, saying that losing one maid won't affect her, but Ray insists that she can let out her feelings since no one can see her. She begins to cry while Ray comforts her, saying that the world is unfair. She tells Ray she's audacious for a commoner, and Ray tells her to punish her for it. She knows Ray will just see it as a reward, which makes Ray happier, since she finally understands her, saying that they should just get married. Claire ignores her and starts walking away, but Ray catches up to her, and the two hope they will see Lena again. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.